News 4 New York at 4 begins right now. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natalie Pascarella.
And I'm David Ushry.
We go now to an I-Team investigation. We want to start by warning our viewers some of the images coming up are hard to look at. A New Jersey family is suing one of the state's biggest nursing home companies, claiming their loved one was left in a nursing home bed sitting in her own human waste. As Chris Glorioso reports, that is just the beginning of the alleged neglect, Chris.
Natalie, a company called Care One operates 29 nursing facilities in New Jersey, and the company is fighting these accusations. But the pictures, as you just heard, are disturbing to look at. Family of an Alzheimer's patient spoke exclusively to the I-Team, telling us their loved one was left to sit in her own human waste. They believe nursing aides failed to answer her calls for help getting to the bathroom. In one case, they say she tried to get herself out of bed and fractured her hip trying to get to the toilet. Family members say they don't know how she got this black eye. We have blurred some of the images this family says show the grandmother sitting in her own feces and with human waste smeared on her face. The family has filed a lawsuit against New Milford's Woodcrest Nursing Home and its parent company, Care One. They say the nursing home was clearly understaffed and often failed to make sure their loved one was eating.
It was very clear from every person who worked there that they were overworked, understaffed, and the end result is my mother wasn't fed.
Somebody in the government or in the state of New Jersey should wake up and say, you know what, this is the last 5% of their lives. At least treat them like human beings with dignity and some quality of life.
Citing pending litigation, Care One declined to answer specific questions about how this Alzheimer's patient was treated or about staffing at Woodcrest. But a spokesman said if you look at all of Care One's New Jersey facilities as a whole, the company provides 53% more licensed nursing staff than the national average. The lawsuit is filed under the name Jane Doe because the family is concerned matching those disturbing facts be allowed to remain anonymous. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thanks.
News 4 at 6 starts now. Good evening. I'm Chuck Scarborough.
And I'm Natalie Pascarella.
And now tonight's I-Team exclusive, and we want to let you know that some of the images you're about to see and the allegations in this report are disturbing. The family of an Alzheimer's patient is outraged. They say their loved one was left sitting in her nursing home bed, smeared with human excrement. They say it's part of a pattern of neglect, and now the family is suing one of New Jersey's biggest nursing home conglomerates. The I-Team's Chris Glorioso has this exclusive story. Chris?
Well, Chuck, again, we want to stress some of the photos taken from inside this nursing home. They are tough to look at, but this family came forward with the photos as a call to action. They want new rules forcing nursing homes to hire more staff.
We thought she was going to be safe. We thought she was going to be nourished.
Stephen Paganesi and his sister Susan say these images prove their mother was the victim of the worst kind of nursing home neglect.
Every time we went there was another issue. She wasn't being fed. She had fallen. She's covered head to toe in feces.
The photos are so graphic we had to blur parts of them out, but family of this grandmother say they were taken inside New Milford's Woodcrest nursing home. In one image, the elderly Alzheimer's patient is seen sitting in her own bodily waste. In another, she has what appears to be caked feces around her mouth. Her daughter believes nursing home staff ignored the patient's calls to go to the bathroom, so she may have used her own hands to wipe herself, inadvertently smearing excrement all over.
Everywhere in the bed, on her tray of food was filled with caked on feces, and that really was the last straw.
Susan and Stephen have now filed this lawsuit, Jane Doe versus Woodcrest Healthcare Center. They've asked us not to use their mother's name to protect her dignity, but Woodcrest responded asking a judge to dismiss the suit on grounds the plaintiff should not be kept anonymous. A spokesman for Woodcrest's parent company, Care One, told us our attorneys have already moved to dismiss the entire complaint as improperly filed. We fully expect the motion to be granted, as the lawsuit is commercially motivated and filed for improper purposes.
Facilities like this should not be allowed to take care of people.
The Jane Doe lawsuit blames understaffing for the neglect of this Alzheimer's patient. Her family says there were not enough nursing aides to answer call bells, so the frail senior citizen was forced to get herself out of bed. In one case, she fell and fractured her hip. Her kids say they have no idea how she suffered this black eye.
Every staff member that you had contact with would mention that they were understaffed, that they couldn't keep up with all the patients, that they were understaffed.
Following minimum certified
New
nurse.
Jersey Assemblyman Joseph Lagana represents New Milford. He co-sponsored a bill which would have required minimum staffing standards at nursing homes. Last year it passed both houses, but Governor Christie has so far declined to sign that bill. He hasn't said why. A spokesman for Christie would only say the nursing home rule was one of more than 100 bills passed in a hasty and scrambled way.
We have a moral obligation to our aging population. And the people in these facilities now, this is the greatest generation that's there. This is the World War II generation that saved all of us.
The attorney representing the family says without minimum staffing standards, it's hard to hold nursing homes accountable for neglect.
You have to show that they deviated from accepted standards. And since there are no standards, there's really nothing for them to deviate from.
Citing the pending lawsuit, the Care One spokesman did not answer questions about the treatment of Jane Doe or about staffing levels inside Woodcrest. But he did say when you take all of Care One's New Jersey nursing homes together, they provide 53% more licensed nursing staff than the national average. Care One is one of New Jersey's biggest nursing home operators. The network is owned by Daniel Strauss, recently named by NJ Biz as one of the Garden State's wealthiest people.
I don't think any of the owners would want their mother to be treated like this or to have to go through this at the tail end of their life.
A spokesman for Care One described Daniel Strauss as a pillar in the community who has helped raise millions for charity. By the way, in the Jane Doe lawsuit, family of the Alzheimer's patient say the nursing home also mishandled her personal funds. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., letting nursing homes handle your loved one's money. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. If you have a story you want the News 4 I-Team to check out, call the tip line at 866-NEWS-244 or email us at tips@NBCNewYork.com. News 4 at 6 starts now. Good evening. I'm Chuck Scarborough.
And I'm Natalie Pasquarella. Now we go to an I-Team exclusive. When you put a parent or a grandparent in a nursing home, you're not only handing over your loved one's day-to-day hygiene and health care, but often you're giving the nursing home access to your relative's personal money. Tonight, Chris Glorioso has an I-Team investigation into personal needs accounts. And Chris, you found lots of nursing homes have been accused of mishandling patients' cash.
That's right, Natalie. You know, personal needs accounts are pots of money assigned to nursing home residents for things like haircuts, clothes, magazines, or just a cup of coffee. But federal records show more than 1,000 nursing homes have been cited for improperly accessing elderly residents' personal funds.
This is just going to, line their pockets or something. They don't really care about the patient.
The I-Team told you yesterday about Susan Baines and Stephen Paganesi. They filed suit against Woodcrest Nursing Home in New Milford, New Jersey, after finding their mother in what they say are deplorable conditions.
I got more agitated every time I go there. She was dirty. She was unfed. Her food was there. Her sneakers were stolen. Just everything you could imagine.
A spokesman for the facility said Woodcrest is part of a network of nursing homes that provides 53% more licensed nursing staff than the national average. But Susan and Stephen say these photos, some of which we have blurred, prove neglect. This one shows their mother left sitting in her own human waste. Shows her eye. The lapses in hygiene and injuries are not the only accusations in this complaint. Family of this grandmother say Woodcrest and its parent company Care One also stole cash from their mother's personal needs account and used it to double bill for services she was already paid for.
So I called social services and I spoke to the woman at social services, and she said to me they're double dipping. They are not supposed to touch the personal needs account.
The Care One spokesman declined to answer specific questions about the personal needs account, but after Susan Baines complained, she says Care One sent her this letter calling the financial withdrawals an accident and apologizing for an error and for the delay in resolving that error.
It's a precious amount of money for nursing home residents.
Richard Mollett leads the Long-Term Care Community Coalition, a nonprofit advocating for better nursing home care. According to his research, since 2013, government inspectors have cited more than 1,500 nursing homes for improperly handling residents' money. Earlier this year, inspectors found 6 times when Woodcrest failed to promptly tell family members when a deceased resident left cash in their personal needs account.
We have a right in the public to have integrity in our system, and too often see these cases where the integrity is just not there.
Care One says it immediately rectified citations for mishandling residents' money and for other problems with resident care. Citing the pending nature of this lawsuit, the company declined to address any specific accusations in the complaint, instead calling the suit commercially motivated and sensational and improperly filed. The lawyer representing Stephen and Susan says the case has nothing to do with money, because no amount of money can get their mother's dignity back.
This case is all about the principle of what happened to an elderly woman, because you have two people who don't need or care about the money, and their goal in this lawsuit is to expose Care One for what they did to their mother.
The lawsuit against Woodcrest and Care One does not actually name the Alzheimer's patient whose kids say was mistreated. They say matching their mother's name with those photos you saw could risk depriving her of her dignity. But Care One responded in court by saying the patient has no right to anonymity. The company plans to fight the accusations of neglect vigorously. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. If you have a story you want the News 4 I-Team to check out, call the tip line, 866-NEWS-244, or email us at tips@NBCNewYork.com.